All right, I'm Brian Atkinson. I'm a program director here at NSM, specifically for the KBK insurance program. And I'm thrilled to talk to you guys about partnering with NSM and reaching new heights. That's the theme of our presentation today, because we believe that niche markets are the future of commercial insurance, and specializing in those niche markets are very much key to success. Our motto is build success, and we really live by that. We want to help you guys win more business and grow your book, because that in turn helps us grow ours. We're a leading specialty insurance provider with a growing list of commercial specialty programs. And I'm going to give you an overview of those, what we call our niche markets. Now, many of you may already be appointed with us today, which is great. And many of you may not. We're hoping you learn about our industries that we can cover and do more with you. If you're totally new, this is great. We hope that you learn about a number of different programs, can think about where you want to specialize, talk to directors about those industries, those niches, and maybe find something that you want to really dive into. All right, now a few housekeeping items before we dive in. The webinar is being recorded and will be available in a few days for you guys to rewatch or focus on a specific niche and rewatch that. And we'll also be sending the slides out if needed. You're going to be muted during the presentation, but you will be able to type in questions, and we're going to have a Q&A at the end. And it's important for you to type in any questions you have. There are no bad questions. The only bad questions are the ones you don't ask. If we don't get to yours in the Q&A, each individual program director will be getting the list, and we'll send those out to you when we're done. All right. So a little bit about me as we get started, my background. I've been in the industry for about 15 years now. And what's interesting about commercial insurance is for a lot of people that could mean I'm a newbie, or that could be that I'm an old vet by comparison. And that's what makes our industry unique. I lead the KBK team out of Dallas and New Orleans, and committed to helping agents find insurance solutions in the garage, salvage, and auto dealer space. All right, which is what you'll find in each niche program, a specialist invested in helping agents win in their niche. All right, I do want to talk about the special gift today as a thank you for joining us and registering early. The first 25 agents who sign up for the webinar and are on the call today will receive an NSM branded jacket from Cutter & Buck. We have men's and women's styles available. And Liz from our marketing team is going to be in touch and reach out to the winners to get your size and mailing address. So that's the first 25 who signed up and are on the call today. You're going to get your jacket. They're cool. I've seen them. I've yet to ask Liz for mine, but I'm definitely looking forward to that. Everybody loves swag, right? Now let's take a look at our agenda, what we're going to talk about today, the good stuff. We're going to run through an aggressive agenda because there's a lot to talk about, right? We're going to talk a little bit about NSM, what makes them special. We're going to talk about the specialty program overviews. We're going to touch on each of them. We're going to keep you on your toes with a little bit of trivia. And then we're going to do something unique that I think is important for you guys to see, not just what we can do, but how we do it with an agent, with a unique agent perspective. And then we'll close out with why and how you can partner with us, and a little bit of Q&A. All right. So let's talk NSM, a little bit about what we do. You're going to see on this slide, there's a lot of things that make up NSM. And these are just a few of the highlights. But at the end of the day, NSM is the leader when it comes to specialty market programs. All right. We've been doing it for 33 years. That's a lot of longevity. And we do it with great partners, that independent agent partners across the nation, and that's excellent rated carriers as well. And when you put those together, you know, it makes a global footprint for NSM to provide niche market solutions. That's with brick and mortar offices around the country, and in 19 countries now. You know, it's a unique evolution that has been NSM, that started as an insurance broker firm ourselves. So we know where a lot of you guys are coming from to where we are today, right? There's 25 plus programs, having the pen for what we do. And that's important, because what does all that mean? It means you put it together, and we have the pen to make underwriting decisions for the majority of our programs, unless we need to go out to do something else. All right. So that's what you're going to get with NSM, niche programs, niche specialty, and that entrepreneurial mindset. Here we've got the programs we're going to talk about today, and it runs the gamut for our specialty U.S. market programs that are all in unique verticals. It's been an interesting privilege for me to learn more about our companies to present to you today. I definitely feel like I have a better understanding for the uniqueness of what we do and the niches that we serve. All right, and of course you can find all this on our website at nsminc.com. All right, let's move into the specialty programs overview. First up is ATP. It's our program that insures behavioral health businesses and addiction treatment centers. All right, they've been doing it for 18 years as a program in what is a massive sector. I didn't realize it was 170 billion. And it's expected to grow by 5 to 10% over the next 5 years due to the increasing need for treatment and recovery services in the United States. So think of that massive sector that is a niche specialty you can partner with us in that will continue to grow. This program is led by Krista Mays out of our Philadelphia office, and ATP offers comprehensive multi-line package that includes the GL, the sexual and physical abuse, the auto, and of course the property of the umbrella up to $2 million, and it's available in all states but New York. All right, so a key differentiator for ATP when I was talking to this program about Krista, and something that makes them unique and not many of their competitors offer, is the primary professional liability for physicians and psychiatrists. So if you write behavioral health business and you know how big of a deal this is and how important that cover is to round out that package to provide that solution to the insured. On the right, you're going to see a number of the classes that ATP covers. And, you know, those are important, but don't get me wrong, don't miss this. ATP is partnered with 3 premier organizations leading the addiction treatment field. And I know in insurance and some of our specialties, we love our acronyms, but it's important to note that they're the National Association of Addiction Treatment, the AATOD, which is American Association for Treatment of Opioid Dependence, and then the National Alliance of Recovery and Residences, which is NARR. And that's a mouthful, but it goes to the uniqueness and specialization of ATP that Krista Mays leads that you will not find anywhere else in the addiction treatment field. All right, so you know the ATP team is focused on behavioral health business, and agents get direct access to an assigned underwriter, which is unique, right? You're going to be dealing with the underwriter, the decision maker, and this program offers unmatched longevity, consistency, and expertise. So keep ATP in mind whenever an account of this sector crosses your desk. When you think behavioral health, think ATP, all right? So that's first. Next, we're going to be moving to care provider services, which is similar to ATP, but protects organizations which help improve and uplift your community. So think nonprofits, social services, private schools, charter schools, churches, and many other classes. Similar to ATP, but different. This is run by Quinn Tran out of our office with offices in Dallas and Philadelphia. And CPS is another multi-line package program with very strong coverage forms tailored to each of those business classes we talked about. 2 that I want to call out today are the sexual abuse and molestation coverage, and then professional liability coverage. You know, these are prevalent. We don't like to think of them because of the nature of that, but they're necessary and are used to cover pastors, educators, and more. All right. And then rounding out that package, they offer additional coverages like auto, umbrella, property, and the like. When you think of CPS, you know, it's a broad space for that nonprofit and social services. And they can be your answer for 10 key classes. They're not that mile wide. They are that specialist in the niche space. So when you think CPS, again, think churches, other religious organizations, private and charter schools, the Head Starts and early childhood programs, health home organizations, of course, pregnancy centers, before and after schools, IDD organizations, which, this was interesting for me to learn and good for all of us, intellectual and developmental disabilities or group homes, which, things we need in our communities, and CPS can be that answer. There's also family services organizations like adult daycare, senior services, women's shelters. There's applied behavioral analysis therapy, which I've learned a lot about this week in preparing for this, which is unique. And then interestingly enough, finally, YWCAs. When I first read that, I thought probably like most people on this call, You know, oh, you mean YMCA? Actually, it's the Young Women's Multicultural, and it's the largest multicultural women's organization in the world, which is very interesting, and CPS can be an answer there. So if you need to protect social services organizations in your community and that serve your community, think Care Provider Services and Quintran CPS. All right, so that's addiction treatment, and then social services. And now we're moving into apartment and condos, or HAB, as we like to call it, habitational property, under the HAB Pro program, which, you know, HAB in this market right now is super hot. It's super hot because it's super hard. So when you think HAB Pro, it's a non-admitted market that writes non-coastal apartments and condos around the country. So what does that mean? Let's build that box for you guys. That means they don't write Alaska, Hawaii, Florida, and the 5 boroughs in New York City or Harris County. But otherwise, outside of those restrictions, so think non-coastal, HAB Pro is your solution for garden style apartments. So they want to focus on class A and B risk. And what do we mean by A and B? They look for buildings built 1980 or newer. They also look for things like crime reports, hail reports, and Google reviews to really round out that underwriting. Their average premium is $50 to $75K with a minimum of $5,000. As I said, a typical risk for HAB Pro would be that garden style apartment. I bet each of us could look out the window wherever we are right now and see one of them, maybe even throw a rock and hit them. It's a hot, hard market, and it's something that a HAB Pro can be a solution for. As you can see on the right side of the screen, it also covers subsidized housing, mixed mercantile buildings, so think mixed use, student housing, and 55 and older communities, all right? So let's dig a little more into HAB Pro. It's a property offering with a monoline or package covering, but no monoline GOL, right? So they can do the property alone, but not the GOL, and they can GL. They can do the GL and the property together. So when you think coverage highlights, you know, let's put a bow on HAB Pro. It's a robust property enhancement endorsement, which includes various sublimit coverages and equipment breakdown, which is important, right? Obviously, you're going to need that business income, the ordinance and law with A, B, C, and D options. And it really aligns well with many financial institution requirements because, you know, the banks, as you guys know, are going to need these, including Fannie Mae. And then to close it off, there's hired and non-done auto and sewer backup. All right. So HAB Pro, what makes them unique is they write with one carrier, and they are a ground up solution for a wide variety of apartment and condo risks, meaning that they have the ability to tailor the solution to you and piece together those coverage limits so you can go to one convenient place to write that risk. So last but not least, when you're thinking about limits with HAB Pro, it's a limit of 25 million in TIV, all right? You know, in this market, all we have to do is look at the news every day. Insurance Journal, there's another market now. It's shedding business. HAB Pro is looking to use their capacity wisely and write good business, and wants to do that with you guys. Joe Mossberg runs this program out of our Philly office. Super good guy who would love to talk to you and be that non-admitted solution, which, as you guys know, with non-admitted paper, there's always a story to tell and a customized approach to business, which HAB Pro specializes in. So we're thinking middle market HAB, non-coastal, think Joe Mossberg and HAB Pro. All right. All right. Next up is a program that's special to me, which is KBK. I've been with KBK for just under 3 years now, gosh. But the program's been around for over 30 years. Offices in our Dallas and New Orleans office. And it's known for its customer service and unmatched expertise on the underwriting side and the claim support side. When you think of our underwriters and what makes them unique, is their average tenure is 14 years across the underwriting teams, all right? So you know when you're partnering with KBK, you're getting an expert in the space that has seen it and done it, all right? So let's talk product-wise. It's an admitted multi-line package led by the commercial auto. It rounds out with the GL, the GKLL, the property, and of course the all-important on hook that goes with that really you need for the towing space. So what KBK is a partner on the towing for repair side. It's got to be removing vehicles from the road that are in need of repair. We don't do any repo or auto hauling, but we are a solution for towing for repair. And that's what we're known for, and we have been for over 30 years. But KBK is more than just towing for repair. We've seen profitable growth in our garage program. So when you think garage, think used auto dealers, think auto service and repair, your oil change, your brakes, things of that nature. And then we also have a program for salvage, recycling, and dismantling in a space that's seen many carriers pull out. You know, that applies to the garage too. You know, we see the news, the Main Street carriers pulling back on those Main Street risks, and KBK can be a solution for you in those today. Especially those Main Street risks, the used dealer or the auto service and repair, where they have that tow truck, all right? So, you know, to close that out, for towing and repair, KBK is a niche solution for you that you can count on with an admitted market, all right? Let's move on to another niche, and that is PUA, which stands for Professional Underwriters Agency. PUA is the foremost leader in professional liability insurance, which, you know, when we think professional liability, for me, it's something I get questions a lot about to round out a risk, whether it's contractual. This program is run by Sandip out of our Chicago office, was founded along with his father back in 1990 and later acquired by NSM. So PUA has been around for a long time, and it specializes in professional liability for architects and engineers, contractors, and construction managers. This professional liability risk is their bread and butter because of the market need. They are a tremendous solution and can be for you guys today. In addition to that, PUA also offers miscellaneous professional liability for over 4,000 classes. So think about that, 4,000 classes. Yes, they specialize in architects, again, engineers, contractors, and construction managers. But beyond that, there's over 4,000 classes in their miscellaneous professional liability program that they can be a solution for you. And it's something they do a ton of to help round out risk and close deals by providing the whole package. They're also writing excess limits. It's the fastest growing line for PUA, and it's available for, again, architects, engineers, contractors, and the miscellaneous risks. PUA has great underwriting programs. You know, we talked about how long they've been doing it. They have the pen for 2 different markets in Arch and Lloyd's, making them a dual platform shop. And that means if you have a clean risk or a challenging risk, they have a solution for you. They also have the relationship with a dozen other markets. So if they don't have the pen for it today, they can go out to a program they have. It's called PUA Market Solutions, to provide that outside of their own walls if they can't provide it inside house with the pen. So the final message to you guys on PUA, to put a bow on it, would be they are the true experts in professional liability and help our agents find solutions for the most challenging professional liability risks. All right, so we have come to our first break, our first trivia break. This is fun. We're going to keep you guys on your toes and do a little trivia and see what you picked up for the first couple of niche programs that we just did, all right? Everybody likes a game show, right? So the first one, which our NSM sister programs serve the health and human services industry. Is it HabPro A, B, care providers, C, care providers and KBK, or D, KBK and PUA? All right. There's not an E, all the above, which we all know it's normally E, but all right. And it is 82% said CPS and ATP. And that is correct. Well done, you guys, for listening. I appreciate that. All right, moving along to number 2, HabPro protects apartments and condos, meeting which criteria? Coastal properties, historical buildings, buildings built in 1980 or newer, or D, all of the above? See if you guys were listening about HabPro or habitational market. All right. And 80% of you guys got it. Buildings built in 1980 or newer. Well done. All right, final question for this break. Which program covers tough risks for the towing and garage industry? I'm going to be upset if you guys don't get this. PUA, CPS, ATP, or KBK? All right. 98% got it. KBK, I appreciate that. Near and dear to my heart. All right, we're going to move along. Just a real quick housekeeping note. We're already getting questions in, which are great. If you have a program-specific question, if you would include that program name in the question, that would be helpful in answering them, not only on the webinar, but afterwards. All right, that was fun. All right, next up to bat is sports and wellness insurance. It's our program for fitness and amateur sports accounts. And this is a real fun one that we have. My good friend Chris Meith runs this out of our Philadelphia office, and as he likes to say, if you can play it, we can cover it. Sports and wellness has an extremely broad appetite, as you can see in this slide. And they've been writing a lot of pickleball and recreational facilities. I feel like I'm the only person in this country that has not played pickleball, and I feel like it's everywhere, and I gotta fix that. But they can write. This program offers admitted and not admitted coverage in all 50 states, which is just exceptional breadth and depth. This program offers abuse coverage, hired and non-owned auto, umbrella, as well as many other standard coverages. So it has that broad program cover from the abuse to the auto and the umbrella to cover your sports needs. All right. Let's dial in on a differentiator for sports and wellness. Last year, they launched an online portal called Sports Connect, which is a state-of-the-art broker portal for GL and accident and health indications. This portal has been a huge hit with Chris's agents, which I'm actually jealous about. It's a huge advantage for him because it really streamlines the submission process. You get real-time pricing indications 24/7 out of this portal, which provides you a tremendous advantage. And while the pricing indications are for the GL and A&H, you can also add on property for a full package after the indication. All right, which is awesome. Think about that. How many programs can you go to and say, hey, does this fit? Where do we think we'll be? Chris's program can do that. We talked about, extremely broad appetite. You can see the appetite up there on the right for amateur and youth sports, recreational facilities. We talked about pickleball, the martial arts and things of those nature. It is an exceptionally broad program that, again, is available in 50 states. I want to drive home that, like all of NSM's programs, sports and wellness team is backed by seasoned underwriters who only work on the business in sports and wellness. They're true experts in the field. The underwriting expertise combined with Sports Connect technology, that online portal we were just talking about, makes it easy to place all your fitness business with sports and wellness. All right. One thing to note, if asked, by your insureds, the abuse coverage is not included the umbrella. That's an important differentiator. Otherwise, it is comprehensive coverage, but that's standard across the industry. All right. So that's sports and wellness. Let's move on to Shield, which is a new program, I say to NSM, in the last year. And I was really excited that we added this because construction is and always will be such a hot market similar to HAB. And Shield, as it's called, it's run by Rob Anderson. They've got 2 offices across the country, provides superior contractor insurance products. They offer it's led by the GL. They can also provide workers' comp, excess, in the marine, and of course, contractors, professional, and pollution liability. All right. And this coverage provided by Rob and his team is much broader than many of their competitors. In this tough space of construction, competitors tend to have lots of exclusions. Shield does not have them. Up on the right side, you're going to see just a few of the classes they write, including roofing, which, as we know, is tough. It's a tough class in the market right now. I would challenge you to find it in many places. They can do it. They can do your GCs, your plumbing, your framing, excavation, HVAC, all the way down to concrete, masonry, and many more. It is a broad field. Shield also has a really neat online platform called insurancerater.com, where you can rate, quote, and bind accounts in minutes, and premiums start as low as $1,000, all right? The program is available in most states, and they partner with A- rated carriers and above. They also have an exclusive partnership with Nationwide for small to medium-sized contractors, and it's the only way to access that program is through Shield. And they have the PIN. We talked about that when this program started, about how important it is that we have the PIN for our program, so you're dealing with the decision maker. All right. Shield's going to celebrate their 20th anniversary this year, and they really pride themselves in service from submission to bind. And they take real pride in their program and marketing it all the way to that final audit. So Shield wants to be your one-stop solution for contractors' risks for the GL. It's perfect for small retail brokers and above with limited staff. It's that portal, I think, that really makes the difference and takes the burden off of the documentation. Not that we don't need it, but you're putting it into a portal to rate, quote, and bind account in minutes. That's a huge differentiator for speed to market with that online platform, something I'm jealous of. Shield makes the entire process really easy. All right, so that's Shield. I think construction, contractors, GL, and think Shield. All right. Next is a really interesting program. It's called True Transport Insurer, or TTI is for short that we like to call it. And it provides owner-operator insurance as well as a number of other specialty insurance coverages, all right? TTI has more than 20 years of experience insuring motor truck cargo carriers and their owner-operators, specifically the owner-operators, okay? They have 3 types of coverage for fleets of all sizes: physical damage, non-trucking liability, and occupational accident, or OCAC, as we like to call it. And so that's what TTI is. Just to be clear, it's not a solution for primary auto liability for trucking. It is a physical damage, non-trucking liability, and OCAC solution for owner-operators, all right? So if you're not familiar with occupational accident cover, or OCAC, as we like to say, it's a complement to independent contractors that provides disability, AD&D, and accident medical coverage function similarly to workers' comp, but specifically for this niche industry, okay? So when you think TTI, it also has books of business for another specialty, a few more specialty transport niches. So think moving and storage coverage, all right? With this offering, you can do the full package in all states. Freight brokers package. Freight brokers link up truckers and shippers to move cargo from A to B. And then, of course, the occupational accident for the gig economy. They can be a solution. Jimmy Burkhead runs this program out of our Philadelphia office. Specialist in the space can be a solution for you. So if you have accounts with a large amount of independent contractors, owner-operators, please reach out, because TTI may be a solution and a cost-effective solution for you with that occupational accident versus the workers' comp coverage for sure. All right, so that's TTI, True Transport. We're going to change gears a little bit. Up next is All Comp, the first of our 2 workers' comp programs. All Comp sounds just like what it is. It's a one-stop solution for workers' comp with more than 300 approved class codes. Think about that, 300 class codes that you can come to one point and find a solution to round out your account. Because the last thing you want is someone writing the package for a niche specialty and not writing the comp, and someone coming in and taking it, getting in because they have the comp. On the right, you can check out the popular classes they write, including schools, social services, transportation, towing, healthcare, behavioral health. And you may have noticed that a lot of those classes align with our specialty multi-line packages. And that's by design. So we can fill out that risk profile, get you the coverage you need, and not allow another agent in. So how does All Comp do all this? They work with a network of 20+ carriers to provide solutions, and they have the pen for 3 A-rated carriers. The majority of the appetite shown is a fit above that we can write in-house. That's huge, all right? Now, if they can't do it, if it doesn't fit by chance, they have 20 wholesale markets exclusive to All Comp for varying niches, and they can still provide a solution outside their pen because they want to be the one place you go for All Comp, all right? As you guys know, workers' comp coverage is a very competitive industry. So let me tell you about some of the key differentiators for All Comp. All Comp offers competitive pricing along with great customer service and above national average commission for agents. That's big. All Comp provides risk management services through Risk Control and cookie cutter service platforms for each individual insured. So that's really streamlines the process for you guys. And then the underwriting team provides fast quotes within 24 hours if they have a full submission. That's huge. That's quick, speed to market, and the program is available in all 50 states. You know, the All Comp team knows the industry inside and out. They continually stay ahead of industry trends. They're ready for regulatory changes. So when you think All Comp, as we like to say, we're All Comp, not some comp. There's an insurance joke for you that I'm kind of sad I did, but it is funny. But really, All Comp is a solution for you to include the comp in a deal, to make it stickier, to keep another agent out, so you can bring the total solution. All right? So that is All Comp. Let's get into our second one, which is staffing lines. And this is a separate program from All Comp because within the staffing industry, there are different carriers and agents. And overall, it's just a very different industry. Interestingly enough, Staffing Lines is our longest running program in NSM, launching back in 1996. And they offer workers' comp for temporary, permanent, and outplacement agencies. So think Staffing Lines. It has the PIN for 2 different carriers. Plus they have 5 wholesale markets exclusive to NSM, so they can be a solution for all your staffing accounts. So again, they have the PIN for 2, and if they don't have the right coverage for it, they can find it for you. You won't have to go anywhere else for Staffing Lines work. A few of the key differentiators is they have dollar first loss sensitive and PEC captive offerings, all right? They offer convenient pay-as-you-go programs with flexible payment solutions, and they also turn around quotes within 24 hours. And so, you know, just those 3 things, right, offer tremendous flexibility for you, the agent, when you're on a time crunch, you need to get a quote, and you need the flexible options to provide to the insured. Staffing Lines was named a top 10 workers' comp provider in the country by Manage HR Magazine, which is kind of cool. That's a recognition that All Comp also received. And of course, the program is available in all states that are not monopolistic. So that means if the state doesn't have a workers' comp solution. So the final message for this really interesting niche workers' comp program is if you have staffing accounts, and you know this is a very unique industry, our team is made up of experts in the space to provide a solution to you. They have the carrier relationships to help you fill that staffing need for workers' comp. All right. So that's really interesting, those 2 workers' comp solutions and how they can round out offerings for you guys, for your insureds. Next, we're going to go to medical stop loss and managed care insurance. This is a new program to NSM that we acquired last year, and this is something I really appreciate about NSM is we're always diversifying our offerings. We're always bringing in a niche solution for our independent agents, right? And medical stop loss and managed care insurance certainly is one. It's not unlike anything we've ever done. And so, you know, a lot of you guys on the call are P&C agents, but maybe you have colleagues in your agents who do accident and health business. And we have 3 companies that provide best-in-class programs to offer medical stop loss to employers, HMO, and provider groups. That's Iowa Re, Rockport Benefits, and Sequoia. So let's get into what they do. Iowa Re and Rockport offer medical stop loss insurance. So what does that mean? It means that there is a whole part of this country where employers purchase or self-fund employee benefits, right? And they do that, and they use the premiums to pay the losses. Well, what Iowa and Rockport can do is they can provide medical stop loss on the back of that to limit those losses. If the company purchasing the self-fund does not want to assume 100% of the liability for the losses arising from those plans, right? So it's like a stopgap. These programs provide reimbursement plans that offer extra cover for large employees and medical plans, all right? And then there's Sequoia and Iowa that offer managed care and provider excess insurance. So it's the opposite of that. Managed care is purchased by HMOs, health plans, and physician groups like Blue Cross or the Kaiser Permanente, as well as provider groups and hospital. It helps reduce the financial volatility by minimizing their exposure from catastrophic medical claims on the back of medical plans. All right, so these are two very unique programs that Iowa, Rockport, and Sequoia offer through medical stop loss and managed care insurance. I'm really excited about their addition to NSM, the breadth it provides for us. And so, last but not least, these programs are leaders in their field and cover companies of all sizes, from 5 people to 5,000 people. So if you have colleagues who work in this space, please tell them about these options for medical stop loss and managed care insurance. All right. So we got a few more things to do as we move along. We're going to head to our next trivia break to see how much you guys learned. First up, what profession does our SHIELD program cover? IT professionals, superheroes, spoiler alert, not that one, commercial and residential contractors, or addiction treatment providers? You guys got this. All right. 96% got it right. I'll take it. All right. Question number 5. What is the name of the new broker portal for our sports and wellness program? Sport Connect, Health Connections, Sports Engine, Instant Sports Quoter. See what you guys learned. All right, 93. I love when we're in the 90s. It means people are listening. All right. Which program was named a top 10 workers' compensation provider by Manage HR magazine? All Comp Solutions, All Comp and Staffing Lines, Highway Re and Sequoia, or True Transport Insure? Well, it's both, guys. It was All Comp Solutions and Staffing Lines, but I'm going to give you guys the benefit of the doubt. So that's fun. Next, we're going to do something different and shift gears a little bit. We have a special guest with us today to talk about how he has leveraged his appointment with NSM to grow his book, and it is Andrew Meanster, who is an agent with KBK. And so I'd like to welcome Andrew onto the program for a unique perspective.
Hey everybody. Hey Brian and the rest of the NSM team. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you joining us. Andrew's been a tremendous partner for us, and we thought it would be unique to let you guys see a little bit about what Andrew does and how he does it. But he is in the top 1% of auto insurance agency agents in the country, and he's developed a real passion for the space. We're going to talk about that today, and specializes obviously in towing and repair with KBK. And before we ask him a few questions, we're going to show something that Andrew does that's unique and talk a little bit about it.
What the hell? I asked for a rollback flatbed to tow my vehicle, not a clunker. They don't even have on-hook insurance.
He has the ability to put himself out there and laugh at himself, while also calling attention to real issues, right? The video obviously is something that none of us would want to insure, but certainly happens. But at the same time, he's calling attention to the on-hook coverage, the importance of doing things correctly. And so, he does a lot of unique things on the social media side, right, that make him unique, but he always brings it back to coverage. And that's something, Andrew, we always appreciate about you and how you do business. All right. Absolutely. So let's get into some questions to provide some context. You've been appointed with NSM and KBK for 7 years. That's a long time to do business with somebody. Can you talk about what it's been like to be one of our agent partners, and maybe, what advice you'd give to other agents to get the most out of that relationship?
Yeah, so, what it looks like to partner with NSM. So, one thing I can say is, they are extremely well staffed in any niche that, any of those niche programs that Brian had just mentioned, which is extremely important with, how I do business and the scale that I need, with business that I'm writing on a national level. That's extremely important. Also, the fast turnaround times with submissions is, I find that the insurance industry is very overwhelmed, but with my submissions at KBK, at some of the other programs, they're being looked at within 24 to 48 hours, maybe even quicker than that sometimes. I also think that a connection with underwriters at NSM, it doesn't just stop at 5 p.m., right? We're continuing to build that relationship, I guess off the field, right? Not during work hours. So, that's one thing that I think NSM, strives for, especially with their leadership, connecting with agents on a personal level to win business. Also, I think that when, I reached out to NSM for an appointment 7 years ago, right? I realized I wanted to write more on a national level. And with the in-house carriers that we had, right, we were restricted in sort of our geographic region. But with partnering with NSM, them having, writing in almost all states, I was really able to branch out, brand myself, and write more business. And that's very attractive to me.
Good stuff. So let's drill down on the underwriter relationship, right? You manage working with underwriters. Each of our programs that we talked about today has a dedicated team of underwriters, and often agents, once they build a book, they get assigned to an underwriter and work with an underwriter year after year, like you talked about. Can you talk a little bit more about the relationship you developed with some of the KBK underwriters and how that adds value to your business?
Right. So I've had pretty much the same dedicated team of underwriters. I've had Daryl, if he's on the call, shout out to Daryl. Thanks for doing an awesome job every single day servicing in our accounts. But, like I was saying previously, the relationship goes way beyond, insurance. It's almost like, when I write a piece of new business, I feel like I'm advancing the team, right? I'm essentially putting food on the table for that underwriter. That's the type of relationship that we have, right? And it's almost like celebrating with like a quarterback and a wide receiver in the end zone doing a celebration. That's the type of relationship and the vibe that I get with KBK and the underwriting team. And part of it is maybe my energy that I'm bringing to the table, but it's great. And on the flip side, we can have a disagreement on an account, and at the same time move on and be able to write the next piece of business, almost like a wide receiver and a quarterback. I keep bringing up that scenario, not a diva wide receiver, but and we're able to, move on to the next play, keep it moving, come to a mutual understanding. So I think that's, the biggest, the relationships that we've built with them, that's very important for us.
Absolutely. And, from the underwriting side, I've talked to my underwriters, heard from them that they developed that relationship with you through wins and losses, to your point. And so, there can be, business lessons learned even when you lose and how to get better. So,
right.
Let's keep moving.
And just to add to that, Brian, it's, how can I also add value to my underwriters, right? What else can I do besides insurance? Like, what other connections can I make? For example, the underwriting team came to Philly, and my uncle happens to be a history guru, and I was able to, my uncle thankfully he had enough time. He was able to give them a tour of, the historic district in Philadelphia, right? So it's also, as an agent, thinking outside the box and how you can strengthen that relationship with underwriters, marketing reps, and company people as well.
Absolutely. It's all about deepening that relationship. Let's think about niches, all right? When you think about tow trucks and your book and auto, we may have some agents on the call thinking about specializing in a certain niche. How do you go about picking tow and garage as your niche, and what would your tips be for an agent looking to select a niche?
Right. I think it comes down to really what type of people you're comfortable, more comfortable with being around. For me, back in 2014, when I first started in commercial insurance, I realized I felt more comfortable with blue collar industry. And, I started cold calling auto repair shops, body shops, and, quickly just, had a lot of respect for, that industry, showing up every day, in the cold, sleet, snow, hot temperatures, and just, was able to go in with, my little jacket here. I didn't have to wear a suit and a tie. I never felt comfortable putting on a suit and a tie. So that means like I didn't feel comfortable going to solicit, doctor's offices, or, going after law firms, or sort of more the white collar business. And I think my recommendation is to, who do you vibe with? What's your passion? Where do you hang out on the weekends? Or growing up, were you like on the bowling team, or were you, black belt in karate, right? And you're able to talk that talk. So I think, coming into the business, focusing on a niche where you're comfortable and you can feel at home. You don't feel so green, like you're, just trying to sell, because that's going to come across, right? If you're not able to connect with somebody. So I think that's the biggest thing is, having a deep, look at yourself deep in the mirror and just say like, hey, like, where do I feel at home? Who do I feel like I can relate to and they can relate to me, and then add value.
Love it. All right. One thing you always do that as we get to the next question is you're not afraid to ask for the business. And I think that comes to your connection to the business. And I think is really important and something we appreciate in how you do it. So let's talk about what's next for you, right? When you think about, obviously, you found a connection to towing and garage, what niches are you thinking about tackling next? And where do you think you'll be in the next 5 years?
Right. So, I think it comes down to what can I scale on a national level? And I'll always be a wheels guy. I love anything with wheels. Just happen to get into towing and garage. But I think if I can find a program, and maybe NSM has something later down the line involving wheels. But I also think that sports and wellness is very attractive. The addiction treatment centers as well. I have that industry has a big place in my heart. So I think you look at it, where can I scale on a national level? And it's to create a vertical, exactly what I did with towing and garage, and sort of duplicate that process in that industry. But I think for agents, it's really to let go of what the norm is in prospecting and cold calling, and really think outside of the box. Like everybody's cold calling, everybody has the same markets, everybody has risk management tools, everybody is getting their CIC and all the abbreviations, but how are you going to separate yourself and make yourself look different? And for me, it's been creating content, videos, adding value, being myself, having a little humor, and then working hard.
Absolutely. And we've seen that, right? Andrew's put in the work, he's built the relationships, partnered with us in niche markets, and it's been very beneficial to NSM KBK, and we certainly appreciate you. Andrew, we thank you so much for joining us, giving the folks on the webinar an agent perspective and how partnering with NSM, a niche specialist, can be a win for the agent and the company.
Yeah, anytime, man. Thanks for having me. Take care.
Thanks, man.
Take care, everybody.
All right, certainly appreciate Andrew doing that. We're going to round out the presentation now. So hopefully by this point, some wheels are turning in your head about how you can partner and get excited about expanding your niche program expertise with KBK. because that's exactly what you're going to find. You're going to find partners to specialize with in a niche space. All right. So, it's, one thing to talk about niche specialty markets. It's another, we like to joke that that's what NSM means, but at the end of the day, we do it differently than other MGUs. We do it because of niche expertise. We're the specialty expert in the space, in each of the spaces you saw today. We have designated underwriting teams for agents, right? We want people to build relationships, like you heard with Andrew, across a book so that we can win more. People, they typically do better in anything in life when working with people they know and they like, and you'll get that with the designated underwriting team, right? We have a commitment to service standards, and we're going to live up to that from quote to bind. And then you're going to save time and get competitive pricing by working with a niche market like NSM. We didn't really talk about this. We talked about a lot of underwriting expertise and teams in the call, but I have to talk about our in-house claims team because they act as advocates for our agents and insureds when handling claims and guiding them through that process. And that's been a tremendous add for our program. We've done some webinars on it for KBK, and it has made the difference having in-house claims expertise on staff. All right. So let's talk about getting appointed with NSM. Every program is different, and that's part of working with a niche specialty program manager. If you'd like to get appointed with us, expand your relationships to other programs, we can talk about that. Every program is different and has its own requirements, right? And that's the uniqueness of a specialty. Some have volume and geographic requirements, but the great thing is that we can plug you in with a program director like myself to have those programs. Whether you're looking to get started, whether you already have a book, we can have those conversations and move it forward depending on geography and commitments and talk about what works, right? And so here's some things we're looking for. We're looking for agents who are focusing on those niches, partners who are committed to growing together, and that entrepreneurial drive that NSM has, and it's part of everything we do. All right. You can email the address shown on the screen to get started. We will get back to you here shortly, connect you with a program director, and move that conversation forward. All right, we are at the Q&A part of our time together, and it's 2:53. We do have time. That's great. All right, so I see a number of questions. Let's go with the first one. Does the ATP program write new ventures? Yes, which is a differentiator for ATP. There's a lot of growth in that industry, and new treatment centers open as a result. They can accommodate those and cover new ventures. So the answer is yes. They ask for things like resumes of executive leadership and business plans with the submission, right? So they're looking for that narrative, telling the story of the risk. So the answer to that question is yes, ATP does write new ventures. All right, good question. Next question, if CPS, care provider services, do you have a minimum premium for any of the classes you cover? And what are the sublimits for abuse? Well, that's a good question. So for CPS, minimum premium, there is a $15,000 minimum premium for church accounts. The abuse coverage sublimits vary by class. That's something you could talk to Quinn, the director, on. For churches and schools and pregnancy centers, they can go up to $5 million on those sublimits. For youth organizations, it's up to the $1 million sublimit from the umbrella. Good question. All right, question 3, sports and wellness. Can we get a full package quote through Sports Connect in the portal? Really cool portal, differentiator for them. Yes, there is an area within the portal to upload and pull in property apps to add this coverage online, and an underwriter will be doing this for you on the back end. So there is, the ultimate answer is yes. Good question. Really jealous Sports and Wellness has that Sports Connect. That's a super cool portal to save agents times. All right. Ooh, a KBK question. Can KBK insure just the towing service? Does it have to do the garage? So good question. We can do both in one policy. You know, we're going to look to see which program that fits in. If it's got more than a couple tow trucks, we're going to put it in the tow. But if it is a service and repair facility that has the tow truck that is not for hire, they're just towing vehicles back to their location for repair, we can do that as well. So don't let a tow truck be the reason you don't send us an auto service and repair risk. All right. Good question. All right. Looks like that will be all we'll be able to get to at this point. So good questions. We got a couple in. I appreciate everyone joining us today. We had a lot of people on the call, and I want to close with this slide of all of our programs and the solution we can be for you across the marketplace, right? It's a lot of information to take in. So remember, the recorded session will be made available. We'll send out a copy of the presentation later in the week. We will get to all of the questions. And of course, you can find more information online at nsminc.com. But don't hesitate to reach out to us with any questions you want to spitball on a risk. Does it fit? You can reach us at the email below. And I know I speak for each of the program managers when I say I'd much rather you call, email, text, ask the question about a risk, because nobody wants to work on something you can't get paid on, and neither do we, because we want to build with you guys, because your success is our success. So again, thanks everybody for joining us. Appreciate Andrew for doing that bit with us. I think it added value, gave you guys a unique perspective, and I hope everyone has a great afternoon. All righty, thanks for joining us.